Hi everyone, welcome back to Gold Price. In this video, I wish to talk about pairing of CPU and motherboards. And this is related to the recent hardware unbox content, published 2 days ago. And it's about the budget B650 motherboard test. Those are great investigative work. That's why I'm a fan of hardware unbox as well. Good job as always. However, they have their opinion, but I feel that some of it is not exactly accurate. I mean, a few years ago they did a review of the ASRock B660M HDV and using a high-end CPU. Well, at that time I was in ASRock, so I couldn't say much. But now I'm not in ASRock, so I don't carry any motherboard brand representation behind me. I guess it's time to share what I have in mind. So let's talk about the test. The test was using 7950X, the highest end CPU on budget motherboards, and it was running 1 hour Cinebench loop. So what does this mean? I mean, this means you're using a high-end CPU on a low-end motherboard, which already does not make sense, and to do things that most people are not doing, and to get that kind of benchmark and saying that kind of motherboard sucks, which I find is not justified. You see, motherboards, as a motherboard maker, they have many range of motherboards. Budget boards are clearly for budget board setup. You don't use budget motherboard on the highest end CPU and then run a test that it is not something it was made to handle in the first place. I get it. I get it that you're calling out the brands. I can also tell you that in many cases, the technical department actually knows what you're talking about, and you are correct. And this is correct that about the support thing, that the CPU is advertised to run this thing and is not running maximum. And yes, that's totally correct. Even the average enthusiast would know. However, the people who are like what how boss call it marketing BS and all that, I can understand. Typically, it's like two countries within the brand. What the technical department knows, it's not necessarily what the marketing team wants to put out. So we'll just leave it as that. But I do agree that brands should actually make it more clear on what the users can expect out of the 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 combo, because yes, I do understand that. However, we have to understand also that when the brands say the motherboard support, it means that the product can be placed on the motherboard and powered on. That's pretty much that. Okay, back to the pairing issue. So you see, pairing the highest end CPU on the lowest end motherboards or budget range motherboard is like, pairing your high end sports car with the lowest quality available tires and go and run the track. And if the tire gives problem, you're saying that the tire sucks. Now, is that a user problem or a tire problem? Same for coolers. You use a stock cooler on a high-end CPU, run multi-core load, and is it justified to call the CPU cooler bad? Or you are just a user problem mispairing of components? Same with power supply. You have a high-end rig and you use a cheap power supply, and one day it explodes or whatever thing. Is it a user problem? It is, I feel, because yes, the power supply might sucks in that sense, but it is an entry-level power supply that you paired with an already high-end system and run high loads. And what do you expect from that kind of power supply? Same with the case of motherboards. So over here, I have the ASRock B650 MHDV M.2. Excellent motherboard, not available in Malaysia. I bought it from Amazon at about 120 US, and I like that board a lot. So I got it from there. And over here, the Aorus Elite AX, that's also in the chart. So you can see these two boards, the pricing is hugely different. If this one entered Malaysia, it's going to be about RM 600-ish, I think. 700. While this one is around double the price. However, you can see ATX and micro ATX and much more beefier VRM heatsink. This is the ICE model, which is a little different from the original, which is the black colored. Regardless, what I'm showing you is there's a huge difference between motherboards of different price point, and they are suited for different levels of the CPU. Same, half the price, right? And if you look at the CPU price, I'm just based on Shopee. You can see that the 7950X is clearly higher priced than the rest of the AM5 entry-level models, such as the 7600. 7600 is a low power draw CPU, 6 cores, 12 threads, very different from what you get from the 7950X, 16 cores, 32 threads, and whatever else that comes with it that is meant to push a lot of power through the thing. So again, don't get me wrong, I'm those tests are good. There's no argument against the test results. What I'm pointing out is that users would not it would not be logical for anyone who's spending on a 7950X to even look at the budget board, and it does not make sense for that people who are pairing these kind of things, if they're going to run that kind of workload, to be looking at a budget board. Same is like people who are using a 7950X, and if they're going to run a 1 hour Cinebench loop for whatever reasons, clearly they will not be using stock cooler, and they'll be going for good proper cooling systems as well. So yeah, pretty much that. So my point is that yes, no arguments against the numbers, but we have to factor in the logic, whether it is does one use that kind of CPU with budget boards. You are spending on the highest end CPU. You definitely will not be spending on the lowest range of motherboards. Lower range of motherboards typically not just do not come with good cooling for the VRM or that. It has power, much reduced power delivery. It has much reduced USB connection, which if you are using 7950X3D for that kind of purpose, I'm pretty sure you also would like more output. And a lot of budget boards, they only come with 2 DIMMs. They have basically, if you go through the list, they have many limitations, or including like storage. For example, a higher end board would have quite a few M.2 slots, 2, 3. Certain boards can have up to 6, if you see in my review of the 79 Z790 Nova. And then yeah, there's many limitations, so know what you want. Definitely someone who has the budget for the 7950X is not going to be looking at budget boards. And I don't know how many people in this world actually run 1 hour of Cinebench 2024. My take is that budget boards typically they are also for people who running the mid to lower range of CPU, and they are typically just using it for gaming on an other purpose, definitely not for multi-core workloads and running Cinebench, Blender, or whatever things at such a long duration. So with that, I come to the end of this video. Again, no offense to all of you, but use and when we are viewing this kind of test results, we have to factor in the realistic pairings and use cases, and then we'll understand that these boards are not actually bad. They are made for that purpose. So people who pay that price for that kind of boards, you have to know what you're gonna get. Personally, I do not like boards that do not have VRM heatsink. I mean, over in Malaysia, we have a lot of boards that are below the RM 400-ish price point, like the MSI and the Gigabyte. They do not have VRM heatsink. I do not like that, and that's why I actually bought this one, which is the B650M HDV from ASRock, and then it has a reasonable size VRM heatsink, and I'm actually using my 7800X3D with it. So that's that for this video. Thanks for watching, guys. I'll see you guys in the next one. Do remember to subscribe to my channel if you haven't, and bye bye.